What is happening in the world of personal finance this week? All right, so this week we're going to cover the news, the latest on the stimulus talks and unemployment. I'll share with you what's happening in California and what has happened in terms of me getting some extra money. Okay, I've got some news there. I'm also going to look at some viewers' questions and comments. I put out 3 videos last week. I'm going to respond to 2 of them. All right, and I'll grab the next one next week. All right, and then I'm also going to share with you a really nice app. For those of you who are working on your Plan B, this is particularly useful because it's not only great for keeping track of miles, but also your expenses. All right, and stick around because at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you a personal story about how I discovered this technique, which is my #1 technique for dealing with adversity. All right, hey everybody, it is Jay Critter with the Rideshare Guy, drinking my full cup of Nespresso. Oh, that's good. It's Saturday morning. It is about 9:30 in the morning. Today was a big day for me. I've been in this program for the last 7 weeks called the Longevity Blueprint. And I got involved in this program so that I could become healthier and learn how to live longer and maintain my feeling good as long as I possibly could. And we took these fitness tests at the beginning and then at the end. And today I had to take the fitness test at the end of the program, at the end of the 7 weeks. And we had to do a minute's worth of push-ups, squats, burpees, and how long could you do a plank? And I was able to do, I went from 12 push-ups 7 weeks ago to 24. Instead of 30 squats, I can now do 40. I still did 90 seconds of plank, and I went from 9 to 11 on the burpees. And then in addition to that, I dropped 5 pounds, and my resting heart rate dropped. My fat content got smaller. My muscle mass went up. So I've got all these measurements now. So anyway, that all happened this morning, so feeling good. Let's jump into personal finance. Okay, #1, financial news. All right. So this first thing I'm going to show you is just to kind of bring this back home. Yeah, I mean, we talk about the stimulus and we talk about the unemployment, and I think it's important to understand that for many of us, the idea of going back and driving just isn't something we're even going to consider, primarily due to the safety issue. And NPR here has this article, millions of gig workers depend on new unemployment program, but fear it'll end soon, right? And in fact, it has ended as of last week, right? It ended at the end of July, right? The extra $600. Then President Trump signed the executive order, which gave us 6 more weeks. That's now over. So basically, we're just living on basic unemployment. And for most people, that's just simply not enough. And that is the importance of the stimulus package, which just doesn't seem to get any traction. Here's what this article says. Gig workers, like those who lost jobs during the pandemic, have already seen their benefits reduced. At the end of July, Snyder, the person speaking, went from receiving $775 a week to just $175. What's more, unless Congress acts to extend it, this big new program is set to expire altogether at the end of the year. That's the PUA. That's the $175 that he's talking about. What's going to happen this winter, Snyder wonders. I feel like a squirrel burying nuts. I don't know when I'll be able to go back to work the way I used to, if I'll ever be able to go back the way I used to work. So later this week, actually this week I made the video and it's coming out next week about what it would take for me as a veteran driver with 26,000 trips under my belt. What would it take for me to actually go back and get in my car and start driving again? So be sure and look for that video. The next article I pulled here is Stimulus Package Update. Why another bill could still pass and what would be in it. And in that article, we see, could an agreement on a new economic relief bill be in sight after weeks of on-again, off-again negotiations? There's certainly a stirring of hope with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi planning to keep the House of Representatives in session until lawmakers reach a deal, and President Donald Trump on Wednesday urging Republican holdouts to accept a larger bill. Some of the Republicans disagree, but I think I can convince them to go along with that, Trump said. I think it's going to happen. It's very important. And of course, it is important for Donald Trump that those 30 million people, you, me, whoever is receiving these unemployment benefits, gets more money. So it's important for us to be happy with him if we're going to vote for him. And it's also important for the whole economy to have that money come in so that people start spending more money again for goods and services. Yep. Now, what I want to show you here, this is what happened over the last 2 weeks. This is my inbox with the unemployment office. And as you can see, for 8/1, 8/8, and 8/15, I've received an extra $300. And now I'm expecting, and there's no real timetable, I'm expecting to receive 3 more of those payments over the next, I suppose, 3 weeks. So good on California. A lot of states, a lot of you have reported that you're receiving money. Some of you are getting lump sum money, and that's fantastic. Okay, number 2, questions, comments from viewers on the videos that I put out last week. So the first one is the personal finance video. Came out last Monday. Okay, and I did it from Tahoe. And Dorothy Bell says, last year in Tahoe, she was in Lake Tahoe, and it's beautiful. Enjoy your time. You deserve it. Thank you, Dorothy. It was a great 2-day trip. Okay, next we've got, hi, I got my $900. Okay, 3 weeks in Florida. Okay, so that's a lump sum. Now that it is extended to 6 weeks, do you have any idea when they're going to be paying? I do not. I don't know. I would assume over the next 3 weeks. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Let me know when you're out there, when you start to get the week number 4, 5, and 6 money. Is California going to retro pay for wages lost when the 600 benefit ended? Yeah, so a friend of mine, he didn't even know about the PUA, and he recently applied, going all the way back to when he stopped driving, which was like in April. And I said, dude, you're going to get, from April, May, June, and July, you're going to get $600 a week on top of unemployment. And he got this massive, like $11,000 in one dump. So yes, it is retroactive if you go back and you can make a case that you are not working because of the pandemic. The next video was all about the LWA, the Lost Wages Assistance. Okay. And here's a first comment. I was driving Uber part-time while retired up to February this year. Would I qualify for these benefits? So here again, absolutely. Absolutely. I've turned a lot of people onto this, and then they get back to me and they say, wow, I got all this money that you could get. All right. The next person pointed out that 5 weeks of 300 is 1,500, but the point of this article was that most states are getting 6 weeks, not 5, so that would bump it up to $1,800. And light to earth. Be thankful you're not in Georgia. So I don't know what's going on in Georgia, but I have been to Georgia. I was in Atlanta, Georgia when I was like 22. I was working in Chicago for an advertising agency, and I was a buyer of media. And a TV station flew a bunch of us down there, and they took us to like a disco place, right? And the thing about the disco was that when you walked in, you walked on this glass floor, and underneath it was some sharks. And there was sharks swimming around. And I don't remember much because I got pretty drunk. A lot of us were just drinking, early 20s. But that was my experience of Atlanta. And I understand now that there's a grocery store where that place used to be, and the Limelight is what it was called. And now it's called the Disco Kroger's. Number 3, the devil's in the details. So I just wanted to make this recommendation to you. This is a really great app. Okay, the app is called Hurdler, Hurdlr, and the link for this app will be right below this video. Okay, and the cool thing about it is that it not only keeps track of your miles, but for those of us who are doing a plan B, and we got to keep track of a whole bunch of expenses. And heck, even for drivers, we have all kinds of expenses. You know, your gas expense, how much you're paying in tolls, things you're buying for your car, waters and cleaning supplies and masks and all that stuff that you can keep track of with this app. Okay, number 4, dealing with adversity. Dealing with adversity. So I want to share with you my number 1 tool, all right, a technology, strategy, technique for dealing with adversity. I think I've mentioned that I'm a coach now. I coach coaches on how to generate clients using Facebook advertising and what's called a funnel. And when people start to create a business of any kind, they go through a lot of fear, right? And you might have experienced that if you're starting a plan B. So the strategy or the tool is to have a crystal clear vision of where you see your life going. Okay? And the way I learned about this was I'd been talking about writing this book. Okay, this is back in 2014. And my buddy said to me, Jay, you're so full of crap. You've been talking about that for a year, and just write it or stop talking about it. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to Mexico for 6 months, and I'm going to eat fresh fish and fruit and be by the beach, and I'm going to write this book. Then I was watching TV before the trip, and this show came on, what I'm showing you right there. That's from a show, Anthony Bourdain, and it came from a place called Chiang Mai, Thailand. And he talked about it like it was the most beautiful place. He said that his life had been black and white up until that point, and it went into color, right? I was like, oh, I got to go there. Then in the show, they show this woman, right? This woman cutting stewed pork leg. And it's stewed pork leg that goes over some rice, and there's a little egg that goes on top of it. And I saw that, and I was like, that's it. I changed my trip, and I went to Thailand instead. Because this vision of being in this place was so powerful. And sure enough, the next picture you see here, that's me and her. Because she was like famous. And she was one of the main reasons I, made this big trip. And I stayed in Thailand for over a year. But the point being that when I come up against my own fears, what I think of is my vision. And my vision continues to be traveling the world and working for my laptop, making good money and traveling. Those two things together. And I can taste the fried chicken on the side of the road, the iced coffee. I can smell the incense in the temples. And it's like it just immediately puts me past the fear, and I keep going towards the goal. So that's my recommendation. If you're facing adversity, spend some time, get really clear on what you want your life to look like, right? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Who are you with? Who are you waking up next to, right? What are you doing during the day? All of that. And that will help to power you. This is like a superpower. It'll help power you through adversity so you can keep moving towards the goal, okay? You just want to keep taking actions. You're not always going to go straight towards the goal, but as long as you're moving a little closer, all right, that's progress. And we want progress, not perfection. Key takeaways. Well, we're just kind of in a wait and see when more money's coming of the lost wages assistance, right? I've gotten half. We'll see when the other half shows up. Wait and see on the stimulus. Just going to wait and see. California, we're going to have a wait and see what happens with Uber and Lyft on Prop 22. And if you haven't got this crystal clear vision about the way you want your life to look, then I recommend you take a little time. It's actually the most enjoyable thing you could possibly do, because you're going to feel this excitement for your life, for where it's going. And with that hope and that joy and that ecstasy, boy, you can accomplish a lot. All right, thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. That'll help more people to see it. This is Jay Crater with the Rideshare Guy saying be safe out there. If you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, subscribe, sign up for notifications, and just stay up to date on everything that's happening in the gig economy. All right, that's what we're all about: the gig economy, rideshare drivers, finance, how we can all work smarter, make more money in less time. Yeah, you're going to have a great day. Wear a mask. Be safe out there. Take care.